the country and across the world, women can enter. This is not a discrimination. For example, I'll give you another example of it. There's an Attukal Pongala that happens in Trivandrum every year. That is restricted only to women. Now tomorrow if I go to Supreme Court and say, oh, I want to also do Pongala, will you allow me? No, that's a tradition. We need to follow the tradition. The problem with many of the people here and all this 50 lakh stuff is crap. I can tell you straight away.
I just need to make a point.
I just need to make a point. See, the problem is not, there is a temple called Manarshala in Kerala, where the chief priest is only a woman. Nobody else can be. As per tradition, it continues even till this date. You can check with anybody in Kerala. This is a problem of people who don't understand the traditions of Sabarimala. It is not about gender discrimination. It is about a certain tradition. It is about an age restriction. You like it or not, you go to a bar and restaurant. I'm not giving an example of it. It is rights to admission reserved. There are many places you go to a hotel. You follow the rules there. You enter a temple, you can't say, I will not follow the rules. No, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, my point is very clear. You asked whether Sabarimala is a private temple or a public temple.
Yes, Suresh, I got what you're trying to say. You know, Yogita, I want to get you in here because, you know, what Suresh is saying is also what a lot of women on ground in Kerala are saying. They're saying, we're okay with these restrictions. We're okay with these age-old archaic traditions, as you would call them. We do not want a change in them. And because it's easy for me and you to sit here and make this a gender debate, but let's really talk about the women who will be visiting, say, this temple more often than me and you would be. How do you read this? Because at this point, before you respond, I also want to read the quote of Justice Indu Malhotra. Remember, she was the voice of dissent, and this saw a lot of flack because as a woman, she had a voice of dissent. So, you know, a lot of hue and cry was made about it. She categorically said that it is not for the court to interfere in religious practices, even if it appears discriminatory. So do you think too much has been made about the Supreme Court's verdict? There was a review petition that was expected later. Do you think we should leave traditions as they are, because then really there is no end to it?
Not really. We should not leave them. We should always try to improve and improvise on this value system and see what is good for 21st century. We have done away with a lot of bad practices, and it is also one of those practices. Coming back to the Kerala women, yes, earlier I also thought not many Keralite women, they are coming forward, but yesterday what we saw is amazing, and that has given us also a little confidence to sit here and say that yes, women in down south, they are there. It is not about you and I talking in the studio. I am from Delhi, okay, I can talk, but you know, they are there on the street protesting. Yesterday they were there, so my belief is now more firm. And also coming back to what Mr. Suresh was saying, that about there are a few temples where men are not allowed. You by all means you should go and file in the Supreme Court. Definitely, yes, we should have gender inclusion in everything, because why women are not safe in our country, why rapes are happening. If you really join the dots,
those are two different, completely two different issues. No,
yes.
All that we're talking today about is the respect of faith from all sides. Suresh, you know what Yogita is trying to say, that you gave an example of certain temples where men are not allowed. Are you then saying we should just leave things as they are and never really move ahead with the times? Because that would be the argument from the opposition.
Yeah, I'm just taking Attukal as an example. I'm not cutting into other religions. But tomorrow you say, no, Catholic Church needs to have a lady bishop. Will you agree to it? No, that's a tradition they're following.
Not?
That's what it is. You can't say you'll go to Supreme Court of India and demand that there should be a woman bishop tomorrow. It doesn't happen. It happens because there's a tradition there. Manarshala has a tradition. Attukal has a tradition. Sabarimala has a tradition. About this purification process, again, people have absolutely no idea. Every temple, including the Tirumala temple, the Guruvayur temple, every other temple has a ritual. There is certain things that happen. Somebody dies inside the temple has to be cleansed. No, it is not a physical cleaning. It is something that is a tradition. It is written in the Shastras. Please go read it. Without reading it, don't make an accusation.
Two completely different things here, Suresh. Correct. I think we're making two completely different comparisons here. I am running out of time. I want to kind of take closing comments from everybody. And what I want to understand really is how I started the show, saying that what is the way ahead? Do you think we can reach a middle ground? And I want to first go to Brinda Karat. Brinda Karat, do you think a middle ground can be reached? What is the way ahead from here?
I don't know what the president of the Devaswam board has said. But I certainly think, as far as the priest is concerned, The Kerala government will decide if there is any, what the legal grounds are for action. I don't know what the president of the Devaswam board has said, but I certainly think as far as the priest is concerned, the Kerala government will decide if there is any, what the legal grounds are for action.
Okay. Brinda Karat, you know, what I was asking was categorically that from here on, what is the way ahead? How do you see this unfolding in the coming days?
Well, I believe the agenda for the Kerala government is to build a new Kerala. And the Kerala government's main agenda, what they have publicly stated, of course they speak for themselves, I'm only repeating what they have said. And they have clearly stated their agenda is to rebuild Kerala after the terrible disaster that took place just 4 months ago. A lot of Kerala was totally destroyed, the infrastructure, the livelihoods of people, the homes of people, and the government of Kerala is focusing on that aspect, and that is what people require. They're focusing on the aspect of strengthening social security. But here you have the so-called opposition in Kerala, and you have the BJP and RSS who have hardly any presence in either the Kerala Assembly or representation from Kerala here, who are trying to divert the whole issue and divert the attention of the government and creating law and order problems every day in the name of religion. And I think the focus has to remain what the Kerala government has told the people. Their focus will be to serve the people of Kerala, to look at the basic issues of development of the people of Kerala, and in that framework to uphold the rights and dignity of women. And I would add, these are not the government of Kerala's words, I would add that people who believe that women are impure should stop talking about Beti Bachao, Beti Badhao, because that Beti would never have been born if her mother had not been a menstruating woman who today they consider.
Fair enough. Okay, I am running out of time and I want to take some more comments. One from Manila Singh and the other from Oruganti. Oruganti, you know, you've made your stand clear on what you think of how the events at Sabrimala have unfolded. With the same question to you, are we then saying that we really cannot reach any middle ground? Do you think there is room for some more discussions and debates? Because at what are we trying to say? That equality will come at the cost of violence? Because look what happened through the day. It's not going to stop tomorrow. They've called for Hartal and Band for almost 24 hours. This is going to be going in circles. From where we're standing today, what do you think is the way ahead?
See, this is likely to continue for a few more days or maybe a few more weeks. But they cannot alter the thing. Supreme Court has given the judgment. Go back 40, 50 years back. The widows had to torture their head. They had to wear white clothes. Men never did that. No widower ever did that. But today, widows marry, they remarry, they settle down. At that time, they are sent to Vrindavan. Has any man ever gone, any widower gone to Vrindavan? This is an injustice against women. And this is only a political issue. It will get resolved in about 3 to 4 weeks. Matter is very hot, so everybody is trying to grab some prime time. Otherwise, Supreme Court judgment will be implemented. No government can stop a Supreme Court judgment.
Okay. Rekha Rao, I know you've been wanting to respond quickly, 30 seconds. Do you think no middle ground can be reached? Do you think no discussion and debates can be done? Do you think violence is the way forward?
One thing, just before that, I would like to mention, someone said that I was poking my nose. For the kind information, we are sitting here to debate, and no one is here to poke the nose or something like that. That is one thing. Secondly, someone said, like when Mr. Suresh said, that there are some temples where men are not permitted, like Brahma temple in Rajasthan and all. Then someone said we need to fight. It is not the question of fighting. Every religious institute has got its own character. It has got its own belief, base and everything. So fighting is not the thing.
Rekha Rao, that we're not saying that let's pick sides. So we're saying that both sides need to be respected, because we do understand that faith is a sensitive issue for both sides of devotees, and we understand that let's not make this a gender issue. And Anila Singh, I will give you the final closing comments. As part of the BJP, how do you see this unfolding in the coming days? Do you think there can be some sort of a reconciliation that we can see in the coming days?
Riddhima, I know one thing, that no war has ever been started by women. But there are political forces, and very categorically, if I say, then I am not going to hesitate saying that a left party and the ambivalent Congress party, they are into it. They want to they want to hit the Bharatiya Janata Party workers and the RSS workers. They want to kill them. They want to attack them. And I just want to say, let me complete. You have not given me 10 seconds.
Simple, that are we getting equality at the cost of violence? Because we're saying that yes, it is a debate of faith versus tradition, where both sides need to be respected. And as Aurangzeb Ralki pointed out, that there will be more developments to come in the coming days. At this point of time, I'm completely out of time. I'd like to thank all my panelists for taking out their time and joining us here on Talking India Ahead. But stay tuned to India Ahead, because India Ahead at 9 with Sanket Upadhyay is coming up right after the short break.